pause, now go.
Why we always do that?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful.
Happy belated, oh, well, I ain't gonna say belated because it is Saturday, but happy birthday. You just
Thank
had a
you.
birthday this
I want to thank
past
everyone
week.
that wished me a birthday, and those that did not. Love you too.
So how was your birthday?
It was wonderful.
Good.
Oh my, it was wonderful.
Go ahead.
I had a taco party. Had some loved ones over. Had some others over.
Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting.
But it was wonderful. I spent it with those that I love. You know.
Oh, that's good. That's always a good way to spend a birthday.
It was wonderful. You know, I just felt refreshed.
Good deal. I'm glad you had a good time.
I don't know how I can
see
it.
Issue. That's all right. Once we move up in the world and to be able to get
have our makeup artist,
camera and makeup artists. We plug somebody. Somebody's gonna be able to
come on. We're in the Atlanta area.
I don't know what y'all will be able to do with this, but
sunlight, please. No, the sun came out.
That would have been funny. I would have just cut it off and I would have been like, let's go.
That was
it's time to go.
That was the show.
But we're here at the Chattahoochee Park. What's the name of it?
The Pace Mills Park?
Pace's Mill Park.
Pace's Mill.
Yeah, Pace's Mill Park.
Overlooking the Chattahoochee River again.
See the Chattahoochee River? I don't know. We just keep being drawn to this, but I like this. Could be a still shot, and
it will be.
Yeah, I would like that.
Let's pause for the camera. All right.
Good deal. I love it. So what's on your mind today?
You know, I love water.
I do too.
Oh Lord, I felt theological right now. You know, there's this law in the Bible. You know, I don't always go with Bible. Law of the Bible that things first mentioned are always associated with each other. And the water was first mentioned with the Spirit of God.
Okay.
And all through the Bible, you hear the Spirit of God described with characteristics of water, such as "I will pour my Spirit out on you."
Oh, good analogy. Okay.
But always when I'm around water, it just feels
serene.
Rejuvenating, serene. Yeah. Gives me that at peace. I stood over there for a few minutes just to hear the water flow.
When you say over there, oh well, back there. Look, I'm looking at it because it's going the opposite way. Forgive me, y'all, but back there it's a docking where you can pull your boats into and actually go out on the water. And he stood over on top of it. This is his first time here, so that's why he brought that point up.
But if we quiet just a second.
What happened?
If we're quiet for just a second, let's see if we can get capture the water flow in there and the nature sounds. I think they can hear it.
Yeah, I heard that. He in the background squawking a little bit, but yeah. Today and Judgment. It's been in my spirit all week. Judgment. As you know, with me, I listen to a lot of what people say, and I people kind of play the word game a little bit. It might not be their intention. Okay, let me clear that up. But people will say certain things and mean certain things, but what they might have had in their head, by the time it come out their mouth, it's a different translation.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll flow with it anyway. So when I say judgments, it's like sometimes people will look at individuals and automatically assume or put that person in this kind of category, that kind of box. Or people will look at that tree and then all of a sudden, oh, that tree might be dead. It's gonna fall at any time now. Where somebody else could come and look at that tree and be like, that tree gonna live another 100 years.
Hmm.
I say those to say, growing up through life, if we give in to any of those judgments, and I feel like people do give in to them, that's what leads them to suicide. At the worst point, the low point is self-esteem issues.
Mm-hmm.
And anything there in between. I mean, I bring it up because I've listened to some people throughout this week and found that self-fulfilling prophecies can be true, and they're done through the judgment zone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's gonna be gay, so they start throwing these negative connotations on that person that they start taking on or believing in what's being said, or he is never gonna amount to nothing in life, so he starts believing a lot of the things that he's hearing, they're thinking he's not going to be anything in life.
Can I pause for a second?
Sure.
Well, you say self-fulfilling prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man of scholar. I understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But as you were saying this, I was going back to that other tradition,
mm-hmm.
the Bible-based teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, words are spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you keep on rehearsing a prophecy over a person, that person it ingrains himself in their spirit, and then they feel like they have to be that. That's why it's very important on how we name our children. I would say this. Don't get me wrong, I love Diva. I love her to death. But there's certain things she does that acts like a diva. She just has this attitude that's a little higher than sometimes
your average dog. Exactly. I'll agree with that.
And I have to think about it. I'm like, did I instill this in her by rehearsing calling her diva?
You're going where I was going. That's a good analogy that you use, because that's just where I'm going. I mean, let me speak for me personally and make myself I'm gonna make my life the analogy, but it's actually real based. I mean, I was teased growing up. Okay, let me set the premise before I go into the teasing. I grew up without a dad in the home, so there was a bunch of women in our house. Then, having been molested, that was another connotation put. I won't call it negative because it worked out to the good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, with that on top of it, when you're around a bunch of women, and this is what you that's all you know, you tend to pick up certain things. That's why I'll go as far as the Bible saying it's important to have a man and a woman in the house. I understand, being that product of not having both, why it can be of an importance. Even looking at my children, why it was of an importance to have a male and female in the house. Certain things a woman can't teach a man how to do. So the judgment started when I would go to school, go outside to play. A lot of the neighborhood boys, because I was so timid. I used to be very timid as a kid. I know it's hard to believe now, but as a kid, I used to be very timid. So, and with that, it caused me to be an introvert. And yes, I was able to connect with certain people, and we stayed in our little clique, but there was no man there to teach me how to play basketball, football and things of that nature. The things I learned from the different cliques I got involved with outside the home, out in the streets. And this is very important why I bring this up, because there's a lot of people, due to the parents having to work and things like that. These streets are raising their kids, and then they wonder why their kids are acting in the manner that they did. And it was something on Facebook that prompted this whole thing outside of what I've been paying attention to all week, is how a mother got put in jail for whooping her kids because she knew that they had broken into the house next door. But the society went after her, trying to protect the kids from getting a whooping, but she knew these kids broke into the house next door. And I tell you what's wrong with that, because when I grew up, an ass whooping, yeah, I said it, an ass whooping was what I needed to keep me in line, which got me to this point in life where I'm at. So outside of the home, the guys would tease me, why you act like a girl, or why you doing this, only girls do that. Instead of showing me or taking me under their wing to say, you know what, well, maybe he doesn't have a dad in the home. Let's show him, you know, what we know. Maybe this will help him. It's the tease. And this is not blaming those individuals, because again, I'm making this personable to me. For me, if those guys hadn't did that, it wouldn't have caused me to fight to be where I am now. Oh, I thought it stopped. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have caused me to be able to be the fighter that I am today, to push and was able to push past through the grace of God, of course. I can't discredit him. But in the same token, you got a lot of young men out here who are being raised in single family homes with just the mom. The mom has to keep her upkeep. She's going to do her hair. She's going to put on her lipstick. She's going to wear her dresses. She's going to wear her heels. Eventually dating, bringing this dude around her kid. So he's watching her get dressed in it. That's all he can trust. Cooking, cleaning. And then he takes on these attributes when there may necessarily not have been a gay bone in his body. But because he's been teased and taunted, bullied for so long, it opened the door for experiment. And now we have this whole realm of, oh, you know, yeah, you got a choice to do. I hear a lot of people say that. It's a choice. Yeah, after a certain age, you can choose to live that lifestyle or not if you choose to. But as you're coming up, living in a household with just a woman raising you, then you go to your cousin's house, there's nothing but girls, all they got are baby dolls, and they learning cooking. They're learning what they're supposed to learn, but there's no male figures there to teach you. The male figures I had in my family was to go out and get this chick, get that chick, have this chick, be with this chick, have all these kids, and then don't tell me what it was in me as a kid that I don't care what feminine ways they may see in me or what it may look like on me. I know who I am. Mm-hmm. I know what I want, but I know I didn't want that. Mm-hmm. I had a vasectomy purposely that when my ex-wife stopped having my children, I was done. Regardless to whatever relationship I just felt like God would line it up that that woman wouldn't want any other kids, and we can move on and have a life with us. And maybe she would already have experienced kids. We wouldn't have to go that route. So that's just putting it out there personable to me. But I know there's a lot of people that can relate to that story because I run into them all the time.
Relate to that story. And then it doesn't even have to be about your sexuality.
Come on with it.
Let's go with this. Oh, you ain't nothing but a devil.
You
ain't nothing but a devil. You ain't no good. You're never going to go
that on
nowhere.
Top of all of that. So it's like
that's horrible.
Exactly.
How does a person? Actually. But we won't go there.
No, but wait, before you stop that, because it's very key. You say that's abuse, but let's flip to the inside of that. How does I'm gonna ask you all. After hearing it broke down like that, I mean, because right now, I'm going to tell you just like this. I'm going to look in this camera and I'm going to say it just like this. And you could excuse my French. However, I don't feel like I need to apologize because I'm going to say what you want. I honestly don't give a fuck what anybody thinks or has to say about me now. after overcoming all of that, I'd be damned if I'm going to let anybody put me back in that box that I grew up in, coming from a child to my early 20s. That life is done. There's no way I'm allow anybody to put me back in that spot. I didn't like it. I fought very hard to get past it, and now that I'm past it, I raised 3 boys with the help of my ex-wife. We raised 3 boys, and there's no say something negative to those boys about their daddy.
Can I correct you on your lie?
Go ahead. My lie?
You just lied.
What I lie about?
You said you raised 3 boys.
Yeah, what I said.
You raised 3 biological, but you raised a lot more.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a lot of men out there. They're men now that you have helped raise, and I want you to realize that.
Wow. I'll acknowledge it and realize it now, but it's like,
but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, my mindset. But you're so correct.
But I wanted to correct you on that part because of the statement I'm about to make.
Okay.
I feel like we as men, I have no biologicals living, but we as men that understand this, that are woke to the fact that these young men don't have people in their lives, we have to make it our responsibility to lend a hand to our sisters, to those mothers out there that are struggling, because like you said, there's only things that men can teach. A man can teach a boy. I read the story, and I really, just because we decided we're going to excuse our French today. Okay. The only way a boy can learn how to pee standing up is by another man.
True.
I read.
True.
It's a simple thing.
I love to see a female argue me on that one. Argue him on that one.
It's a simple thing. But it's in there's science book that it takes a man to actually go into the bathroom, pee standing up, and the boys learn. Oh, I don't have to sit down and on every time.
Yeah, that's actually how I taught my kids how to use the bathroom. Daddy couldn't get out of their sight, first of all. Anytime I moved, them kids were like, stop, drop, where Daddy go? If I go to the bathroom, they went, especially my oldest boy. He went everywhere. It broke his heart when that door closed and he wasn't on the other side of it with me. Love my kids to life, but it's like, it was one of those things where I wanted to give them everything that I felt I wanted as in a father. I'll never get to experience that on a physical or from a physical being, but I got far more from a supernatural being that if my biological daddy was to come and was given the chance, I would give him the chance only because I wanted that. Would love to have that experience. And shout out to Donald Pollard, if you ever watched this, greatest man who ever stepped up to the plate as being my father. But it's like one of those things where it's like if he wouldn't get a chance after now what I've experienced supernaturally, what God has done for me as a father. Some of these guys that got fathers are seriously being cheated if they don't know.
But I want to go even further on that.
Okay. Oh, can you go deeper than that?
Go deeper than that. I want to thank a young man, who's younger than me, that showed me what a spiritual father is. Pastor Mike, love you.
Why did I know you was going to say him? I did not know he was younger than you.
Yes.
He has a fatherly figure that I literally thought he was older than you. I mean, only because I knew I was older than you.
But see, that's the reason why I can't. It doesn't surprise me if someone older comes and follows me, because I've seen him how I can respect a person that's younger than me. In a spiritual aspect.
I mean, since day one, I walked in and just
he has been nothing but
crawled right under his wing.
He has been nothing but you know what he has actually been? He's shown an apostolic calling. Okay. Which is a spiritual father pour into a spiritual son. There goes that analogy again.
You see how
but yeah, it shows me that when we know better, we can do better.
That's right.
I want to make a vow
even though
today.
It's already inside of us, but how do you consciously make a right or wrong? Just like we were talking earlier, how do you consciously make that right or wrong decision if you're not giving that example or led by an example?
Okay, let me take this down.
Yeah, because what's right for you might not be right
for
me.
That's
right.
Is
wrong.
What we do know is this.
Okay.
We're all given this God gene.
Where's my tissue? Oh, we don't got nothing on saying. Okay. I owe you a piece of tissue.
Scientists has decided that the smallest particle they had was an atom, and inside of it is subparticles, electrons, neutrons, and protons. Yes, I do know my nucleus and everything else. Science part. But behind there, they have discovered or have acknowledged that what makes these energies work. And they call it the God particle because they can't figure it.
You never. It's a phenomenal.
But
my bad.
But you know, we all acknowledge that there's a higher being.
Okay. If
you're watching this, you acknowledge that there's a higher being.
You know that there's something higher, regardless of what you call it. I choose to call him God. Don't knock me for that. I won't choose. I mean, I
call him Daddy, Father.
Right.
You know,
and that's really my personal is Daddy with me. But it's like one of those things where people will be like, you gonna wait on this man to come back. And I know this is gonna be another show, but let me just give a prelude to it because it's so relevant right now. Just because you said it that way. Most people think or feel, there's going to be a Jesus that comes back and comes out of the sky and saves you. I'm not knocking nobody for what they think, but I believe that day you die, that's when you're going to see that sky.
Well, this is when I wasn't,
been there, done that.
When I wasn't as woke as I am now, I always said this. Whether it comes rapture comes, whether it comes. And for the whole body or the individual, you got to be ready.
And thank you for because that's really all I meant by that. Before my Bible scholars jump down my throat, there's no way I could possibly sit here and discredit what I believe in. But
I feel like there's going to be a mass exodus.
Oh yeah, there is.
At one time in history, there's going to be a mass exodus.
Oh, of course, I do believe that. I just feel sorry for the ones who don't, regardless of what they call it, how it's gonna. I just feel like there is gonna be a mass. Whether let me just pacify them real quick. Wait, let me just and then keep your thought. But the pacification would be, we all gotta die. I mean, if anybody disagrees with me with that, let them speak now. Forever hold your peace. But I feel like
we gotta die out this body.
Exactly. This body is going. There's no way around it. We all got that one appointment we can't cancel. Whether it's a mass or individually, it's going to happen. Whoever you credited to, none of us know exactly what the truth is until it happens. That's why he said none will know. But be ready, because whenever it happens, what's going to happen?
I'm gonna say one word, and this is gonna blow someone's mind. It's all about perspective.
That's really all this is.
I'm gonna say
the negative part
of
perspective is judgment.